building in your application. So behind login is at the moment they're a consultancy that help with competitor research. So they kind of set their startup as a consultancy to test product market fit. They feel like they've got product market fit as a consultancy, and they now want to spin the business into a SaaS-based business where other companies can use their platform to do competitor research. And it sounds like a really cool idea, and looking forward to getting stuck into the project. And no doubt we will report back once we've completed the design sprint.
Fantastic. And just for everybody who's on the stream today, what are you giving as the prize for this competition?
So it's going to be a 2-week design sprint, so design UX sprint. So essentially we're going to work with Oliver and the team, and what they want to do is really kind of put together some wireframes or visuals for their SaaS platform that they're looking to build to support the competitor research business that they've started. So probably doing a little bit of research of our own, putting together some kind of information architecture, and then doing some prototypes of what their platform might look like.
Okay, fantastic. What a great prize. Thank you very much for bringing that one to the community. That's wonderful. Congratulations. Cool. Okay, so we've got 3 startups giving demos today. Janon is still off camera, so I think he must still be sorting his laptop. So I think what we'll do is we'll go straight to Charity for the first one, if that's all right. Charity, are you ready for us today?
I'm ready.
Okay, so traditional format, 5 minutes for you to demo, and then 5 to 10 minutes on this online version for the Q&A. The whole goal of this, well, what do you remember the goal of this, Charity? Why are you here? What's the goal?
The goal is to get some feedback from different perspectives. So that will be fantastic, especially from like the tech perspective, but also from marketing and just opportunity ideas, really. And to see if we can share this far and wide and get the right investor on board for investment. So yeah, that's
very
my goal.
good. And the whole reason that Demo Night exists is because the #1 reason that startups fail globally is that we build stuff that people don't want or need. And by breaking that bubble and getting other perspectives, we actually hit that with a silver bullet and dissolve it away. And hopefully then get on with failing for other reasons or succeeding for other reasons, but not actually falling over that one. Okay, so Charity, good luck. Your 5 minutes, if you want to share your screen, and then we'll start your 5 minutes. All right. Over to you, my friend.
Thank you very much. Okay, so hi, I'm Charity Wilson. I'm here talking about Mappix, which is the world's friendliest formative assessment platform, and I'm going to show you why that's true. So first of all, I'll tell you a bit about the problems we're addressing. I was a teacher, and there's a major problem in the UK, but this is a global problem as well. Teachers are quitting. So 44% are planning to leave in the next few years. And mainly the main reason behind that is workload. And the toughest thing around workload, particularly for teachers, is everything to do with assessment. So all those scores that are so important that we share with parents at the end of the year or the end of the term, that's the bit that's really tough for teachers to collate. Because of this, or perhaps in line with this, students are suffering. So 41% of students last year failed the 3 Rs. And when I say 3 Rs, I mean old-fashioned term for reading, writing, and arithmetic. You're supposed to have all 3 of those at a certain level by the time you leave primary school. And we're not able to do that. And yes, it's because of the pandemic, but the pandemic's got long-lasting effects. So we've got some students really suffering. And unfortunately, because teachers are quitting and teachers are stressed and they're going off sick, students are suffering in that way as well. And finally, teaching impact is unmeasured. So knowing who's teaching really well and what strategies work is a difficult thing to track and monitor. So Mappix is all about keeping great teachers in post. Teachers come into the job because of the joy of the job. They want to change lives, and it's the paperwork that crushes that out of them. So we want to change that. We want to help people succeed, and we want to demonstrate really great impact as well for schools and for teachers. So we sit in the area of assessment, and there are two kinds of assessment, and we're trying to change the status quo. The status quo is summative assessment. So that's, like I said, those end of term reports that you get, those little end of topic tests. Those are the things that we call summative assessment. And the problem with summative assessment is it's dead data. It's kind of telling you how well the pupil did, but not what their gaps are, not what knowledge they didn't have, and not what they're really excelling at. So that kind of information we tend to keep in our heads as teachers. So this is where formative assessment comes in, and this is the opportunity. Formative assessments, that's those little daily assessments that happen, observations in class, and teachers tend to keep all of that in their heads, which is great, unless they go off sick. And then it becomes a bit of a challenge. So the problem with this that we're solving is we're digitizing daily assessments. We're making it possible for teachers to record those observations in class with a really cool platform, Mappix, which lets them just in 3 clicks, tap, 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 save, and they're done. All the observations, upload evidence, activities and questions that are going on in class, and they can do that in real time. It's live data, and it shows a granular picture of how well pupils are doing. So we have a fantastic team. It's not just me.
Charity, sorry to interrupt. I'm not sure that my screen is refreshing. I don't know if is everybody else seeing a change?
I'm seeing only the cover page.
Yeah, I'm only seeing the cover page, and I feel sure you've probably wanted to click a couple of times by now.
I have definitely clicked quite a few times.
Oh, that's moved.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right, okay. I'm sorry, everyone. I was on present. Did I do the wrong thing? So let me go down here. Should I just not present in full
This is
screen?
good. This is good. Just take us through this.
Do it like this?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
I'm
no
so
worries.
sorry. Now you've missed all this. Look, here, I even had nice little pictures of people walking out the door and everything. Here you go. So teachers are quitting, students are suffering. This is us keeping things, trying to keep teachers in post. And this is where I got to. So assessment in schools. So there are 2 kinds. So we got the status quo, and then we got the opportunity, which is formative assessment. So I was just saying that you've got daily assessments, and we're basically digitizing that so that teachers can record what they see live in class. And I'm going to show you our platform and how it does that. There's a really cool team behind it. My co-director is Dean Tomlin. He is has been head of sales for one of the biggest edtech companies in the UK and Australia. So he's super knowledgeable, and we've brought in a fractional CTO, which is great. And we have some other familiar names here who are fantastically experienced. And I'm just going to show you really quickly the new element of our platform, which is that we are bringing in a direct to teachers sales model. So statistically, on average, school staff spend about, in the US alone, they spend an average of $94, $95 a year just in software for their schools that isn't reimbursed by their schools. So there is a precedent. Teachers tend to buy things for their schools that will help, and we want to use that model. So we want to sell direct to teachers for $5.99 a month. And then on the back of that, we are hoping that it will enable us to get into schools as well. We're already selling direct to schools, but using this model, we're effectively saying, hey, teachers, try us out. If you love us and your schools love us, then your schools can pay and you don't have to pay anymore. So teachers then become advocates. So let me show you how it actually works. So I'm hoping that it's flipped to a different screen.
It has indeed, and I'll give you 30 seconds grace, but you're currently at 6 minutes, okay?
Oh, crikey. Okay. So here is reading. Hang on. I got to make sure that it's because I've been logged in for so long. Yes. Okay. So to Mark, you come in. I've come into reading. Here's my class. I've decided that I'm going to do some analysing books. My pupils are on the left. To Mark, I go tap, 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 save, and I've done. This works really well on an iPad. In the overview, it shows me how they've done, what their predictions are, what their trend is. And if I want to, I can even jump into my mark sheet, jump on a child, not literally jump on a child, that's frowned on. Click on a child's name, and there we go. We've got a whole parent-friendly pupil report at at any time in the year. You don't have to wait till the end of term. You don't have to collate tests. It's all done. And we are currently looking for £550,000 in investment. If you are the right person out there and you want to get on board with what we're doing, this massively growing market, we'd love to hear from you. So thank you. I'm sorry it didn't, that my screen wasn't sharing properly.
Thanks, Charity. That's brilliant. I really appreciate it, and great to see the platform and how it's shaping up. Tiana has the honor of the first question for the first startup. So please, Tiana.
Thank you, Stu. Well, I already know the idea and love the idea from Charity, so super nice to see the presentation and the progress. And the fact that Charity is actually a teacher and actually a target user of this solution for sure comes in handy, as well as these amazing presentation skills that for sure are going to help with fundraising. My main question is, how do you go about validation and adoption within such a old school system that you're dealing with? So how does it work nowadays at the moment? Is it just some validation, or maybe in some schools you're already using it, and how do you plan to spread the news and have other teachers start using it? Does it have to be per school, per district, per class, per teacher? How this implementation can go? How do you envision this?
Thanks, Tiana. That's a great question. So for us, we've introduced much more flexibility. Before, we were just looking at going to schools, and where you're selling to schools, anyone who's ever dealt with schools knows that there's a lot of red tape, and that it can be quite challenging to get to talk to the right person at the right time of year. So we've decided to bypass that. Instead of going direct to the schools, we're going direct to the teachers. It's one of our 3 pillars of our company is community, and we're about serving the teaching community. So we're offering a really good value subscription model of $5.99 a month. And for that, and because of that, it means it's affordable for teachers. We're going to use social media to market direct to teachers, and we know the age demographics, for example. So we know that we're going to be focusing on Facebook and Instagram. And we are going to be just showing as much as possible about the platform, how simple it is. And if you could see some of the other platforms that are out there, you'd see the simplicity is markedly different in Mappix. So we're going to push as hard as we can on social media. We're going to get people trying it, get those case studies, get those reviews, get those Trustpilot reviews, and the proof will be in the pudding. We're just going to prove that it's the easiest thing out there that you can use.
I see, thanks. But it means that the cost is on the side of the teacher, like a private cost, the teacher.
Yeah. Teachers traditionally buy things for their class, particularly for a curriculum and software. They buy out of their own pockets. It's unfortunate, but it's true. So we don't want them to pay for things out of their pockets. What we want is, we know that they're already buying things. We want to offer something that's really, really good value, which it is. But for them to start using it, and if they refer to their school then takes over the purchase, and the teacher's no longer paying for it. So we're about giving something that's really good value, and then that value, that that the fee, the monetizing, to actually then come from central, which is to come from the schools or local authorities.
I see. And regarding the data privacy, because they're going to be using the data regarding children, do they need approval from parents in order to put the data in the system?
So schools already use platforms like this. There are, I'm reluctant to say like this, because they tend to be really clunky and really unpleasant to use and very, very time consuming. So we don't want to be lumped in with them, but they do. Schools are already using platforms. And this platform, yes, it contains sensitive data because it contains a pupil's name, and it may contain their date of birth, for example, but we're registered as data processors and data controllers. We're fully compliant with GDPR, and the responsibility for data handling stays with the school. And for an individual user, we have really strict terms and conditions about usership, expectations, and they're not accessing anything in any other way than they would using any assessment software, any tracking software.
Thank you. And my last question, maybe I missed it in the presentation, about the traction. How many teachers are using it right now, even in some beta?
So at the moment we have around 30 users. We have around 3,500 data sets of pupils stored securely. And what we found is that with following the teaching, just going to the schools model, it can be tough to get that traction because of the things outlined before. So now we're launching the teacher direct to teacher, the B2C model, which will be live and ready to go in September. And we're really excited to see how it takes off. So
thank you, amazing, Charity. We're gonna follow your progress.
Thank you, Tiana. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tiana. All right, Matt. Tiana's used 5 minutes for Q&A, so I'm going to come to you particularly about product, right? About the UX and the UI kind of stuff. What questions do you have today?
Cool. Yeah, thank you. I'll keep it short. Really good demo, Charity. And it's really good to see the product come along. It's one that I've looked at in the past. I think actually I've got a slightly more technical question first. So I've probably got a slight lack of understanding around kind of curriculums and how they're delivered, but does your product, has it have flexibility to cater for kind of changes to curriculums and how they're delivered? And is that, if that happens, is that going to be a problem for your software, or can it just take it in its stride?
Yeah, no, not at all. The whole reason it was built was because of changes in the curriculum, and there are constant little tweaks. There are constant little shifts in, actually, you know, this objective is more important. Well, no, actually, the Roman numerals is more important. Well, actually, no, you know, times tables is more. So there are constant little shifts. You know, I'm behind the scenes just keeping up with all those little shifts. And also we see the product very much as something that could be white labeled in the future, that whole framework could have a different curriculum, could have the Australian curriculum dropped into it. It could, you know, we could look at the English curriculum, but, you know, change the language so that it fits more with the UAE, for example. So that flexibility is in there to make those changes.
That's great to hear, and a great also that it could be taken into other countries and different curriculums. Just another one that's slightly more product focused. So with a lot of AI in the news at the moment and use cases for AI, I think lots of founders are kind of trying to figure out use cases within their products. And you're obviously collecting a lot of time series data about pupils and how they're progressing. It feels like there might be potential to add some other kind of qualitative data in there about maybe, you know, if they've got learning difficulties or certain kind of conditions, and then mapping out like how people progressed with different learning conditions. Have you kind of thought about different uses for AI and kind of predicting ways of supporting children in the curriculum with the data sets that you're collecting?
Absolutely. So in two ways. Firstly, in reporting. So we're looking at how we can use UI. One of the biggest and most boring jobs you do at the end of the year when you're pretty much absolutely broken is to sit there and write a whole page of blurb about a child, and you know it all, and you know you feel passionately about them, but by that time of the year you're pretty sort of you've run out of steam, basically. So is looking at how we can use AI to make that a much simpler thing, but also looking at how we can use that kind of big data aspect to potentially partner with local authorities and look at where there are common elements within a district where they're struggling. For example, if there's a big problem in maths in certain areas, then how can we use AI either to predict, or how can we sort of collate the data that we're using to actually share that with local authorities and education bodies and help them to sort of look at the bigger picture and think about what resources need to go into schools to support students to achieve.
Right, that's super interesting. Thank you.
Thanks,
fantastic. And great to see you back here, Charity. I mean, it's amazing the way you present nowadays. You really come on leaps and bounds. All right, so thank you for that. Janon, we've got time for you now, man. Are you ready for us?
Yeah, can you hear me? Is it good?
Yeah,
Am I audible?
Yeah, just about. Much better than in the car before. That's perfect. Okay, yeah, so if you want to share your screen, we'll give you the 5 minutes.
Definitely. I did some social engineering and to get the locals to support me. That's what it's all about.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Over to you, my friend.
Demo the product. So tell me when we're starting. We're starting now.
Yep, you can start whenever you want.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, let me tell you guys a little bit about Dropalot. So Dropalot is a social messaging platform and digital billboard. It's a social messaging platform built on a map. Now, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with how many visitors go to map apps. So Google Earth has 170 billion views. This Google Maps has about 100+ million views monthly, in comparison to other social messaging applications. And as we know, people need to know where they're going, what they're doing, how they're engaging with the world around them. So maps are relevant, right? But social messaging has about 4 billion users, right? 4.8 billion users to date, to be exact, right? So the idea is we're going to target these 4 billion users, and we're going to target the mechanics, the user behaviors that drive 170 billion views and 153 million monthly views, right? Over time to effectively create a product that people find relevant and useful wherever they are, whenever. So the problem we're solving effectively is that problem that I think all of you guys may have before, where you're in, say, for instance, you're in Lisbon or you went to tech, I guess, London, and you know where to go, who's around, what's happening, where you should a map with some static data. Real.
We're just losing your sound a bit there, Janon. I don't know if there's anything you can do on the connection there.
Yeah.
It was doing great, and then just as you got like really animated, it just kind of cut out.
What about now? So,
Getting better?
What about now? Is it better now?
Yes, it is. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, sorry. So I'm not sure why I lost you guys there, but was it about a Tech Week part? Did you guys hear me talking about like London Tech Week? Did you get that?
Come back a little bit before that.
Okay. So basically, I'm saying the problem that we're solving is the one we've all faced, right? Where we're in a location, we're in a space or somewhere in the world, and we don't know who or what is around us. We're not able to communicate with the people around us. We see current social messaging platforms creating paywalls and so on and so forth. So you don't actually have access to people around you, and you never really did actually with social messaging platforms. If you have followers on Twitter or Facebook, they may be people you know, but they're not local to where you are in real time in the world around you. Now, for businesses, there's a huge upside because any business in anywhere, any location in the world, well, businesses pay hundreds of dollars, hundreds of pounds, millions of pounds to find their customers, to find their tribe. And so do startups, so do, I guess, established businesses at Series A, Series B, as well as incumbents. They're all spending money to find people around them within whatever location, sort of attract those individuals to buy, to shop, to, you know, so they could sell to these individuals. And supermarkets, groceries, bars, restaurants, all of these businesses depend on people coming in, right? Foot traffic is a huge factor. We see across the United Kingdom, we see that the high streets are decimated because of this. And we've got like regenerative funds for towns and cities to sort of re-engage and build back the high streets, or at least regenerate high streets. That's not going to be effective without the tools that we actually need, the effective tools we need today. So insert Dropalot, if you will. So I'm going to just quickly log in and give you guys a quick tour of Dropalot just quickly. And effectively, all it does is that it allows you to drop messages in locations. If you're a business, if you're a person, an individual, you could put messages and you can actually have a stream of communication with individuals wherever you are in real time, or you can do it, you know, as a business, via promotion, advertising, and so on and so forth. So let's see if I can get in here. I hope I'm not speaking too quickly, and let's see if I can get in. I may be able to speak this. Let's just jump in with this one. So the app opens up. We've got the app on iOS, we've got the app on Android, and we have a web app where you could effectively go in, you get a brief tutorial. It takes you through the entire process of, you know, what a drop is, how to make a drop, how to sort of actually work with the environment.
We're still
and
seeing the
system.
login screen, Shannon. One moment.
Oh, 1 second. This one I need the connection not to fail me. Huh. The audio fails, then the Wi-Fi is failing. It's fine. Let's bring it back. Please. Let's jump in the line. Oh, it's failing to me. I think my connection is actually not sufficient right now. I mean, what's happening in here? It's not ideal. Sorry, just tested this and it worked fine. And now, I guess being on the Zoom call, I don't have enough bandwidth. Something is going wrong. It's not loading as it should. But let me try this once more. But effectively, the app is available. It's free. It's available only to the United Kingdom. You guys can have a look. I would love to actually take you in there. If you go to dropalot.co.uk, you can actually log in. But for some reason, I can't seem to. Yeah, I can't seem to get in there for some reason. Both of the accounts have failed. They're not failed. That's wow. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you well.
But I can't even seem to log in. I'm logged in with both of these accounts actually. And my Shannon and Dropalot works as well, but I don't know for some reason it's not either.
I guess if you, in the absence of this working, if you just want to share the homepage for your site, because that gives a really good indicator about how it all works, right?
Definitely. Sorry, my connection is a bit slower than I expected to be. It wasn't earlier, but there we go. So we have our Android and our sort of iOS app here, and should be able to actually just log in directly from here or from this link on screen. Problem I'm having is, I think I'm having one of those typical issues that we've seen where for some reason the Google token is not actually allowing me to access this. So if you're not in the United Kingdom, you'll probably see a waiting list issue. If you're from the United Kingdom, it shouldn't be an issue. Let me just quickly configure this. So there is an age limit for the app. We obviously want to make sure that you know, people can get in without any issues. You really don't need to put an age or your date of birth in if you're logging in with Google or Apple. But for some reason I'm logging in with Google, and I guess I'm gonna have some problems here. This is very annoying. I do apologize to everyone.
The joy of a live demo. You're all good.
it's definitely decided to wow. Any of these should just work. I'm logged in with all these Google addresses. Actually, any of them should work. Let's see, maybe this will now. No. Wow, I do apologize. I'm having a connection issue here for sure. I tested this prior and this works fine. I don't know what's happening now.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll share what I've got on my screen, which is from your homepage. And if you just want to narrate around it, that might be easiest.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Okay, can you see that all right?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So effectively, if you were logged in with Google, you can actually log into the app and you'd be able to get the map as well. Stuart, you should be able to log in with the app and you get the map. You get exactly where you are located at this moment. And you'd be able to, you get a tutorial. It would actually advise you on how you could sort of make drops, or how you could use the drops, how you could interact with the actual platform in real time. You get 3 options for making drops. You get a classic sort of message. You have a repeater, which repeats wherever you go as you move. And then you have the ability to make these private or public. So you have public drops, which are basically for any and everyone around you, or private drops to a specific individual or group. And then you have expanders. Expanders effectively expand over time. So for a business, it would mean that that particular business could say, you only want to sort of engage people within a 1 to 5 kilometer radius. And that would expand over time. They would set the dials from 1 kilometers to 5 kilometers over a set period of time. In every drop, there is the option to set how long you like a drop to live, because drops effectively, they expire after a certain amount of time. So we've allowed for the free version of this, we've allowed for 24 hours, and we're considering for paid versions to having 7 days, 3 days. You know, you have a full week, you have a month, depending on what you're actually engaging and what content you're sharing with your audience. I've taken up way too much time, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to cut it short.
Okay, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. All right. So, Honor, the first question goes to Matt on this one. What do you want to ask me?
Cool. So good product. And actually, I was at London Tech Week last week, and something like this would have been really useful because there's so much going on all over the place. But having kind of that way to communicate across kind of a geographic area seems like a really good use case. I think I've seen lots of platforms like this, and it's always not specifically like this, but trying to achieve the same thing. So it's trying to get users, and it's sometimes two-sided. It feels like it's only really going to be a great experience if you get enough kind of critical mass and you get enough users on there. What's your strategy? Are you going in on a certain location first, so you can actually get a users to make the experience good, or kind of how you're approaching that? Because it feels like that's going to be the main thing to actually get traction. Now you've actually got a product.
Yep. So the strategy, that's a great question. And it's good to hear that you validated the London Tech Week issue that we assessed, because we noticed this. So we have a sort of multi-pronged strategy in place that we want to approach. One of the things is we're not sure what this will or can become, right? If I'm being honest, you know, we have no idea what this might turn into as an application. So one of the things is that we're going to learn as we go ahead with users and discover what they want, what they don't like or dislike, I should say, and sort of iterate around refining those specific, I guess, engagements for them. But going forward, one of the things we've recognized is, so we're doubling down. As we said, we're launching only in the UK, and we're keeping it UK focused first and foremost. We have some interest from Riyadh. So one of the things is that we're going to be in the Middle East as well. But before we do that, we're going to first make sure we get all the boxes checked right across the United Kingdom. And we're going to have this multi-pronged strategy where we're testing a bit of, you know, direct to customers across different communities, spark different fires in different communities with different content creators for different reasons, and find those individuals who actually want to sort of drive forward with a new social messaging platform, a new platform to engage and generate value for themselves and their audience that they already have, to bring in new users. So we're looking at how we could sort of maximize value and create, you know, relevance and purpose for the individuals who are going to use this, but also for the businesses, right? So it's kind of like, we figured out how we can actually engage specific customers who would actually take this and sell it up market and upstream to their users, their followers. But also, we've kind of realized that because multiple fires need to be started across the United Kingdom, so where it might be that, oh yeah, we'll just get some television stuff done and get some advertising and marketing done, which is, you know, run-of-the-mill stuff, standard traditional advertising. Actually, we're going to be a little bit more strategic and a little bit more, I guess, widespread, because we're going to hit people from every angle. So we already did some television promotion and advertising of some televisions for some stuff that needs to come out. So we'll have that coming out across the summer, and it should be pretty cool. But then we're also going with the sort of guerrilla digital, like physical marketing in real spaces. And then we've got a few stores, chains of stores across Kent that will be running some marketing and some business advertising because it benefits them as well. And we're sort of activating a lot of those types of strategies on the ground, some of the digital sort of traditional stuff, and then some of this sort of new age, new ideological ways of thinking for marketing that we've created, right? Because nothing is better than a business with an audience already or customer base, and then they're driving value back to your startup. So we're kind of activating those.
Cool. Thank you.
Definitely one question per person this time. Okay, right. So Jana, over to you for the next one.
Oh no, I had two, so now I have to choose. But okay, Janan, thank you so much for this. Just a quick one. Tell me a little bit where you are in your journey, in your entrepreneurial journey.
Wow. On the mountain. I am on the mountain climbing this really difficult, hard mountain. And yeah, it's an interesting journey. So far, because there are so many moving parts, I guess I can say that we're at the stage where I'm discovering that a lot of the ideas that we may want to implement in the application, or we thought would be ideally what people wanted, and we're discovering people want so much more, but ultimately they're not even sure what they want, to be honest with you. So they want more, but then if you give them more, they're not really interested in having more. They're interested in having efficiency, but in a way that's so simplified. So as someone who builds AI and an AI product manager, AI engineer, for instance, we've engaged with AI companies who want to use Dropalot for specific reasons. They're also parking lot companies, the companies who do parking, and they want to like use digital billboards and stuff like this. Dropalot is perfect for this. They want to leverage Dropalot in this way, but then they're not even sure what they want as customers. Supermarkets want to use the app, but then I'm discovering that, for instance, the supermarkets I've engaged, the internal politics with customers is something I wasn't prepared. Nobody tells you this in any sort of preparation for engaging customers that you have to deal with. You have to be careful how you manage customers because there are like internal bureaucracies and politics you have to face. So I'm at this huge learning curve where I'm on this mountain and I'm discovering a lot, like so much.
So essentially you're validating in a way, and you're discovering still your use case in that sense. And also, can I ask you, how are you planning to make money?
You see how she snuck that second question in without me noticing. You see that?
It's fine. I'll
You
give
can
a quick
answer,
answer.
but 10 seconds or less.
Yeah, so we have already in the app, the users have the option to buy more drops. And additionally, we have like some sorts of models that we have for, I guess, advertising campaigns, and for businesses, the specific types of drops. We have new types of drops that could only be purchased for advertising within the app. So it's kind of all based around how users can engage with each other via drops and purchasing drops.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right, round of applause. Okay, Theo, it's over to you, man, to bring us home. Third, but by no means least one, as you have the most recent fundraising experience of everybody on the call right now. You might still be on mute.
Apologies about that. Everyone see the screen changing?
Yeah, looking good.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Theo Lee Houston. I am the founder of Slinger. Just to give you a bit of background, I used to work in these shiny bank buildings in Canary Wharf. Unfortunately, my soul couldn't deal with it anymore and realized I needed food and people in my life. So to the dismay of my mother, aka her pension, I quit banking and joined the crazy world of food and set up 2 food businesses. And after that, I ended up running an incubator and accelerator program, helping hundreds of food entrepreneurs go from pop-up level to restaurant level. Some of the success stories were the Shroom, Pizza Pilgrims, Bleecker Burger, Club Mexicana. They've all got restaurants around, but one issue all these entrepreneurs had was staffing. So I set up a WhatsApp group to kind of help them connect with people. That WhatsApp group started off of 5 people, grew to 256 people, moved over to Facebook. That community grew to 3,000 users. And just before lockdown, I decided to create an app and decided to see if it would work. Actually, sorry, during lockdown, I created it and launched it in April 2021. So as I said, staff shortages have impacted the world, and this has been sped up as well since COVID. And what I found during this journey, the actual whole hiring process is absolutely broken from both sides of the market. When we're looking at hospitality and the blue collar sector, hiring managers are spending too much time having to go through job boards, interviews, sifting through loads of CVs and so on. It's just inefficient. At the same time, you're asking the other side of the market to provide cover letters and CVs, and which has brought me on a new mission, is to make the CV redundant. And Slinger, we're absolutely a community of frontline workers, and I say we're the future of work. So just waiting for someone to change. So what we've done, we've created a platform where workers and businesses can connect instantly. They can find flexible jobs, or they can also find full-time jobs. What this does for the businesses, it saves them time and money. So what we see as we're actually changing the entire hiring process, and we started off as a gig platform where workers come in and take on-demand shifts. But what we found out during that process is that our tech is really good at finding workers, and the community constantly validating these workers. And what the businesses end up wanting is to keep these workers on full time. So therefore, we enable people to come on flexibility, build up a profile, and then apply for a trial shift. And what I call it is essentially the vibe check. Do I want to work here? Do you want to work there? And this speeds up the process and saves both sides significant cost. Traction today, we've got over 500 businesses on board. We've had over 5,000 workers sign up for the platform. The average shift gets claimed within 30 seconds. We've done over 10,000 shifts. We've paid out over £1 million to our community. We're currently generating over £10,000 a month. We've accomplished this all with zero investment. Really proud of our community. For 56% of the community have come from word of mouth. And find us and other outlets. And again, we haven't spent any money on marketing to date. I'm really proud to say we're a place where all tribes are welcome, and we look like London. We have an awesome team where we've worked together over many years. So a lot of us came from the collective called Curb. That was the incubator and accelerator of food. I was the head of markets there. I worked with Ollie and Jack, and I have the lead marketer of Shopify recently come and join us. We have an absolute fantastic advisory board along this journey. Partnerships, we have loads of partnerships to take advantage of that can get us into literally hundreds of thousands of venues. I haven't even pulled the triggers on these relationships and partnerships yet because I've built everything you've seen previously with a team of 1.5, not half a person as a part-timer and myself. And this is why we're looking for investment so we can take these opportunities further. It's a massive market. In itself, food and hospitality is one of the biggest sectors in the world for employment. And the numbers stand for themselves. Globally, it's worth over £266 billion. In the UK in itself, it's 27 billion. And we're looking to capture a small chunk of that. We're on a mission to have over 1 million frontline workers on our platform by 2026. Hospitality is the vertical I've started with because I found myself in here and for the last 10 years. But we want to move to other verticals for essentially in the blue collar world of like retail, customer service, health, social, and cleaning. So we're looking for funding of £500,000. This is to build our leadership team, implement a product roadmap, improve our payment terms, launch a SaaS model, and ultimately create more working opportunities for our workers. And I'm really pleased to announce that we've recently backed by Google and received investment from themselves. We've reached our target of 500,000, and we have a small allocation for anyone who wants to come and join us on this journey. Thank you very much.
Great job. Thank you very much. All right. And congratulations on the recent raise. Tiana, I know you've got to drop off the call in a minute, so the honor to you of this question, please.
Thank you, Stu. Great presentation to you and great product and great traction already. So I have two quick questions. One is there a side of your marketplace that you find more challenging to populate on your platform? And if you already know the reasons for that. And the second question, what's the plan exactly about the SaaS model you mentioned on the last slide? Thank you.
So just slightly here, but if I understood correctly, it was the challenges of creating the marketplace, right? Balancing the two sides of them. Yep.
Exactly. So in your case, for each side you find more challenging.
Absolutely. So we've got an opposite problem with the rest of the industry has. So the industry can't find enough staff. We've actually got too many staff. Yeah, like I said, the average shift goes in 30 seconds. But if I'm quite frank here, I've been raising for the last 9 months. And I feel like the platform's a bit of a driverless car, and hasn't had a sales team or anyone account managing. Like, it's just been managing itself, bookings, shifts completed, payments gone through. So once we hire like an account manager and salesperson to nurture the customers more, we should see more bookings hopefully come through on that side of things. And then your second question, sorry, the model?
The plan for the SaaS model.
Yep. So originally we started off as a gig platform and said we'd take a £2 fee for every hour that went through the platform. The average booking is £16. The average shift is always 8 hours, and it should be £16. But we're really looking forward to moving into the recruitment space and becoming a recruitment tool where we can be charging up to £1,000 for each placement.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Before we just move to Nick for the next question, Thea, could you stop sharing the screen, and then we'll get more of a picture of you rather than them. I mean, they're very pretty, but obviously you're prettier. Nick, your question, mate.
No, I'm really, an amazing platform, and congratulations on the raise. I think it's very exciting. I was kind of interested to know. Obviously, you said get rid of the CV and all that stuff, and that all makes sense. What do you provide to people? What is it that you give them to help them make their decision?
Absolutely. So what we found out is that essentially we, as the gig platform started first, we're actually building data on workers and can tell people who are great and who are not at certain things. So a typical hiring manager has to go onto a job board, send out the application, wait a month. Let's say we're talking about a kitchen porter role. They wait a month for 10 CVs to come through. They're paid over £1,000 just to get these CVs. Then they have to vet the CVs. They would invite someone like 7 people to come and say they're good enough for an interview. Only 5 people turn up to the interview. Out of the 5 people that turn up to the interview, 3 people are good enough for a trial shift. When they get to the trial shift, nobody turns up. So our alternative is we've done all the pre-vetting. We've got all the data on who the great workers are. Let's just get them straight to a trial shift. And essentially you two can check and see if you want to work with each other.
Thank you.
All right, this is so dangerous near the end of time. Pedro, the question for you, my friend, to bring us home. One question, okay? Not a Columbo question, not a just one more thing question, one question.
I'm just trying to choose one. Okay, regarding scaling, outside GDPR, can this platform be local law agnostic so you can move to other countries?
Yeah, absolutely. To be frank, I'd have to do more investigation into that, but at the moment, nothing's been highlighted. We've had lawyers go through our terms and all our data and protection. There's nothing that a candidate wouldn't show a normal, prospective worker essentially on
that.
Go on, that was really short. I'm going to let you have another one, Columbo. You got it. You go for it.
Thank you. Do the system allows things like ratings from the employee and the employer, and then you can later use, like with AI, find an engine to create matching, things like that, so it can enhance the experience for both parties and have successful,
Absolutely.
not just applications, but getting jobs, really jobs, occupations.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to the next stage of the business when we've got more data on people and we can then implement other models like machine learning and I guess AI of learning on that. To be quite frank, I don't like falling in with trends and throwing things just for the sake of it. I'd rather go and get the work done and get the results and use these things as tools instead of throw them on the pitch deck and try and get a 10x valuation.
Thank you.
All right, well, look at us. We're done. That was brilliant. Thank you so much. Three very different stories, three very different founders. Wonderful to have you all here today. Thank you very much for bringing these journeys to light here. So I guess I will leave the honor of the final words to Matt today as the CTO in residence and the awarder of the prize for the UX and UI sprint. How do you feel about today's demo night? What's your reflection?
I think it was really positive, and the last pitch, Slinger. I thought it was a great concept. Of all the people that I know locally in the hospitality trade, kind of getting staff is the biggest problem for them right now. So it's definitely hitting the market at a time where it's massively in need, and definitely we're watching where that one goes with the investment. Super interesting. But all pitches have been really interesting. I think everyone's done a great job.
Thanks, everybody. We'll be back in a month for our next demo night in July. And of course, if you haven't already bought your ticket for Web Summit, I just need to remind you that it's November, and that seems like a really long way away, but it's only actually 5 months. By the time we've done the summer thing, it's September, school starts again, and then suddenly it's November, right? So have a look. And of course, the tickets, they get more expensive the further you go. So if you're watching this and you haven't bought your Web Summit ticket, please remember we've got a canopy party, we've got a mini accelerator program, we've got a mentor speed dating, and we've got a demo night. And Jana's going to be co-hosting the demo night. Pedro is going to be looking after the panel. In fact, I think we're all involved in some way, except Tiana, who's just going to be hanging out in Brazil and ignoring the whole thing as it happens, right?
Yeah, come join us in May over here on this side.
Okay, we'll come to Brazil for the May one. All right, so we'll finish with a silly wave. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening.